Hello, Flosstube. I'm Brandy. I don't know what I'm doing. So I just started watching Flosstube. Sorry, squeaky chair. I just started watching Flosstube because my friend Beth told me all about it and told me that I needed to check it out. So I did, and then I got hooked. And it feels really good to know that I'm not alone in this crazy, crazy world of cross stitch. So my name is Brandy. I have a problem. That's all. So anyway, like I said, my name is Brandy. The friend that I mentioned, Beth, is Beth from Heartstring Samplery. She and I met years ago at church, and she was kind of fairly new in the design world at that point. And I was just so happy to have finally met somebody who was also a stitcher, because in my world, there weren't a lot of stitchers. And we live over in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon, and stitching really isn't the thing that it is apparently over on the East Coast and in other parts of the world. And so I've been stitching for probably 35 years or so, but kind of off and on. But I stopped for quite a long time because I just kind of got tired of all of the kits that we could find at the local craft store, which there weren't very many, first of all. And second of all, they just weren't really my style. So when I met Beth, I was really excited. Hello, puppy. This is Bella. I love Bella. Some days. Say hi. Hello. Anyway, I was really excited to meet Beth and find out that she stitched or designed the same kinds of things that I actually enjoyed, which was samplers and kind of more primitive antique-y type pieces. So so that was really exciting for me. And that inspired me to pick it back up. So pick it back up I have, and it has been fabulous. In the meantime, in my spare time, not in my spare time, in my full time, I'm a wife and a mom. That'd be funny to be a spare time wife and mom. I don't know how that would work, but whatever. Anyway, I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 24 years, I think. I should know that, and yet I don't. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of years. Some of them have been really, really good years, and some of them have been really, really horrible years. So if you're married for any length of time, you probably know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And together, my husband and I have a podcast called The Road Home to You. And it's a Christian podcast where we talk about different ways to live out our Christian faith. And we talk about being messy, broken people in a messy, broken world, and what grace and truth is all about. So we do that for fun, I guess. And we have two kiddos, Evan, who is almost 19, and our daughter Molly, who is just turned 16 in May. I guess that's longer than just. Anyway, she's 16, and she is a dancer and does ballet and tap and jazz and all those things. And then Evan is really into computers and building computers and doing like design, like computer animation for like video game stuff. That's what he's kind of passionate about. So anyway, we're all a creative family. My husband and I met doing theater in high school, and then we did theater in college. And actually, he did theater in college. I was the after we got married, I worked while he finished up his degree. So I was not technically doing theater, but I was working at the theater alongside him. And dogs. My life is full of dogs. Sometimes I like them and sometimes I don't. I'm not a dog person. I'm a cat person. And we have 1 cat and 2 dogs. Anyway, neither here nor there. So anyway, I've always been a creative person. And so has the rest of our family. And I love them. I love them. I love them. Anyway, I do pen and ink drawings. I make gnomes. Here's one of them. This is Lars. He's our he's our podcast's mascot, and we do road trips. We talk about road trips a lot, and so he goes on road trips with us, which is goofy. I realize, but I love gnomes. I'm very into gnomes. They make me very happy. Anyway, so I'm always making something. Art journaling, scrapbooking there for a few years, crocheting, you name it, I like to do it. So anyway, but now I'm kind of back to, I guess, probably what was essentially kind of my first adult arts and crafts love, which is cross stitch. But the crazy thing is as long as I've been cross stitching, you guys, I know nothing about cross stitching. I make X's on fabric. That's what I do. I did not realize until Beth honestly opened my eyes up to this whole world that there was anything other than DMC thread or Aida cloth. I had no idea. The dog wants the cat so he can eat her. It's a problem. It's a problem. I'm going to try to ignore it. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, so all of a sudden now I'm learning that there's all these different threads. There's stitching on linen. Like, who the heck knew? I didn't know until just fairly recently. I'm gonna let the dog out. Well, we'll see how that goes. I brought the cat in. Who knows? It's anybody's guess. Puppies for sale. Puppies for sale. No, that's actually my son's dog. I can't sell him. My son would be very sad. Anyway, so we are on a very tight budget. So when I realized that you could stitch on something other than Aida cloth, which I don't particularly love because it's bigger and all kind of firm, and the dog ran into the camera. I'm sorry, you guys. This is my life. Anyway, I went to a craft store, I guess, and I bought just a thing of muslin, I think is all it is, and coffee dyed it and stitched on it. And so it's because it doesn't have that same warp and weft that's even like, say, linen or Aida. It's all my designs are a little bit wonky, or all of my stitching projects end up being a little bit wonky. They kind of end up a little bit stretched out, but I'm okay with that for the most part because I'm on a budget, and because I figure back in the day, girls were stitching on what they had available, and so that's kind of what I'm doing too. So I have, I'm starting to broaden my horizons a little bit, and am working on kind of setting aside a little bit of pocket change for to buy some nice linens and all of those kinds of things. So That being said, the stitching that's behind me is all of it is done on that wonky fabric. So they're all kind of a little bit stretched, but it's really not so noticeable in those ones. A few patterns, it definitely is noticeable when they're supposed to be square and they turn out rectangular, and that gets a little weird, but whatever. But for now, I'm going to show you what I've got. I've got some finished pieces, and that, well, finished in the sense that the stitching is finished, but I haven't actually finished them. So I will show you. So this was, I just finished this piece. It says Ellen Pym, January 3rd, 1877, aged 11 years. And it's just a pin keep. And I realize now I should have something to put behind it so it's easier to see. I didn't do that because first time. Anyway, I'm going to, with this, I'm gonna turn it into like kind of a bigger pin cushion, as opposed to the pin keep it was supposed to be. This pattern I got from a book, but I don't know which book. Off the top of my head, I don't know. It might have been a magazine also. Who knows? Anyway, that's that. These next three pieces are actually some of Heartstring Samplery designs. And I think it was a set, but I don't remember the name of the set. I'm sorry, Beth. I'll try to put a link in for it. I will put a link in for it. But it's a Christmas one, and I finished them, the stitching last year, in hopes that I would get them all hung and decorate our house with them. The dog is bumping the camera. Duh! I was gonna use them in our Christmas decorating last year, and then I actually ended up not even hardly decorating because sometimes life is crazy. And I honestly don't even remember last December, so that's how crazy it was, apparently. So anyway, this is this piece. It says, "One starry night, hope was born, joy to the world." And then the second is Heaven and Nature Sing. I just like that. It's so sweet. It's pretty tiny. I'm going to turn that one into an ornament. I'm going to frame the first one, and then I'm also going to frame this third one that says, "Let every heart prepare him room." I love the colors in that one. They just make me so happy. It's just so sweet. So, so there's those, and that's all that I've got that's like actually finished and waiting to be fully finished. I think the dog wants food. I'm going to continue to ignore him. So, like I said, I'm on a budget. So, one of the things that I have realized in watching you all is that there are just a whole world of designers out there. I thought literally there was like dimensions kits, and then Beth, I didn't know. So it's been kind of an eye-opening experience, this whole Flosstube universe. So I've gone to sites like Plum Street Samplery and looked at the beautiful designs that she has, and then discovered that she's got freebies, which is, hello, totally in my budget. So I'm doing the I Miss You piece that's from Paulette, and I'm gonna make that for my best friend who I haven't seen actually in a couple of years because her health has been really not so good, and it's just been really hard for us to get together. So I every now and again just send her little gifts. So I'm going to stitch this up for her. I just started this last night, and I'll finish it up hopefully over the next couple of days. and get that sent off to her sometime next week. So I'm excited. And then I've also got another Beth Heartstring Samplery piece, which is You Had Me at Pumpkin Spice. Because, let me just say, I did not know the joy of pumpkin spice literally until last year. I feel like I'm really late to the game in so many ways. I feel like I've kind of been under a rock for the past couple of years, which maybe is true because I've been dealing with adrenal fatigue. So last year, I discovered pumpkin spice coffee creamer, and I had really been resistant to it because it sounded gross to me. But then I think I bought it on accident. And y'all, it was good. It was really good. So now I'm all about pumpkin spice. So I saw this little piece and I said, I must stitch it. So stitch it I am doing. And then one of the things that I found, it doesn't have a cover on it anymore, but it's this book called Folk Art Needlepoint. And it's by Ruth Peldison. It's a very hard last name to say for some weird reason. And it's here. Can you see that? It's 20 projects adapted from objects in the American Folk Art Museum. So she's done what so many other designers have done, which is taking these beautiful pieces of antique art and then kind of modernized them a little bit, or kind of reproduced them in a way so that we can use them now. And primarily, there actually aren't a lot of like cross-stitch patterns in this, but they're all written in such a way that they're really easily adaptable. So, quite a while ago, I started this piece. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see. It's a big piece, though. And it's called Hannah Carter Tapestry. And I loved the colors in it. It was so, it's a little hard. I don't know. Yeah, the lighting isn't doing it justice right now. It's a lot brighter and more vibrant. But I bought this book. I don't even remember where I bought it. It might have been like at a library sale or something. And then I've just been converting patterns from there. In fact, some of the pieces, maybe they're on the other wall, are from that book that I've done. And so anyway, I started doing that Hannah Carter one, and this is as far as I've gotten thus far. So not very far at all. And I'm using like 28 or 32 count Aida, must be 28, and just DMC floss, because this was before I knew that there were other flosses, and I just found like the highest count Aida cloth I could find, and because it's a full coverage, I don't mind that it's on Aida. When there's all the open space, like in pieces like that, I like having actual like linen or fabric that doesn't have such an open weave. I like to stitch on that when there's open space. But for full coverage, I actually kind of really like stitching on a higher count Aida because it's easy. I think that's probably why. It's just easier. So anyway, I haven't pulled this piece out in a long time. In fact, when I pulled it out to do this video, it was still hooped, because that's how high class I am. But I've never had a problem by leaving my pieces in hoops. It's never been a problem. So, but maybe that's because I haven't been using linen. I don't know. Anyway, but I didn't even know stitching in hand was a thing until recently. And I watched a video. Actually, I've watched a couple videos. I don't even know who all you are. That have posted videos on like tutorials on how to stitch in hand. And so I've just started doing that. So the pumpkin spice piece that I showed you is stitched in hand, as is the needle keep. Another big piece that I have, this is actually probably size-wise the biggest piece I've ever done, or I'm doing. And it's coming from the Sampler and Antique Needlework magazine from, I think, 2010 is what it says. Winter 2010. And I'm borrowing this magazine. And it is the Liberty Sampler. And I just think that's really cute. I'll try to get it closer. Oh. So I like that. So I'm stitching it. And here is how far I've come. So maybe a third of the way, maybe a little bit more. Not super far. Again, this is a piece that I haven't picked up in a really long time. I get bored really easily, which is probably why I have done so many art and craft things, because I just get bored. I will love something to the point of like that's becomes like my complete obsession, and then I just get tired and I want to move on, and then I'll come back to my obsession. I never like leave it forever, but I will definitely have a tendency to leave it for a while. So some of these pieces have been sitting around for a couple of years, and hopefully they'll get done. I mean, they will get done, but hopefully sooner rather than later. But I've also got, like I said, I went to Plum Street, their website, and just downloaded and printed a bunch of the freebies, because one of the things that I really like about that is because they're small, they're quick and easy stitches, so I can get a lot of things done in a relatively quick amount of time, which I think maybe helps me stay focused. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway. And then I'm also borrowing this book, Traditional Samplers by Brenda Keys. I think it was Stephanie from Lindy Stitches showed this book as well. And I've been doing some things from it. Or maybe I've just looked at doing things from it and haven't yet. That's possible. So anyway, you guys, I'm so delighted to find a little pocket of the world that is as excited about cross stitching as I am. I really, like I said, I didn't know that there were people that weren't my grandmother's age who cross stitched, and that grandmother who did cross stitch is dead now. So, I didn't know. And to watch Flosstube and to see so many people that are younger and clear up. I mean, it's this huge wide age spread. And I think it's really delightful and exciting because needlecraft is such a beautiful art that I think, unless we make an effort, it's not going to stay alive. And I love the effort that's being put forth and the designers that are continuing to spread their art and their creativity to us, and allowing us to just turn these designs into beautiful works of art. It's really super fun. And it's so fun to like kind of feel like you're a part of a quilting bee a little bit, without actually having to do a lot of the social work that goes along with that. I tend to have a little bit of social anxiety, especially with new people. So I get awkward and weird. And if that wasn't completely apparent, I don't know what. So anyway, it's great to have this community and to now be a part of it, I guess. So like I mentioned, Lindy Stitches and Heartstring Samplery and Plum Street Samplery. I'm sorry, that's Paulette, I think. I'm pretty sure. I've also watched some Kitten Stitches, and I've watched some Farm Girl, and I've watched Southern. Oh my gosh. I've watched other people. I'm sorry. I will link the people I've watched. And anyway, it's just, I don't even know how to end this. I guess that's just it. All right. If we'll see how this goes. I don't know. This might be my one and only video, but I hope to be back. We'll see. All right. Have an awesome day, you guys. I'll talk at you later. Bye.